Hello everyone, this is Grace. It is September the 26th, 2022, and we are continuing our study in Leviticus. We are continuing through Leviticus chapter 7. We left off, we had just read verse 18. Let's read through this again and then we'll continue on. And if any of the flesh of the sacrifice of his peace offering be eaten at all on the third day, it shall not be accepted. Hold on. Well, they've skipped to the third day for the peace offering, which I did not notice until now. They said that the peace offering shall be eaten the same day that it is offered. He shall not leave any of it until the morning. So then, of course, because they're always inserting laws where they're not needed. So then they got off into offering a vow and said you have until the third day to eat from a vow. So now they've jumped to the third day for the peace offering, so what happens if you eat of it on the second day? Any of the flesh of the sacrifice of his peace offering be eaten at all on the third day, it shall not be accepted, neither shall it be imputed unto him that offereth it. It shall be an abomination, and the soul that eateth of it shall bear his iniquity. Basically, they're trying to cast you into hell if you eat on this on the third day. It's just all made up, people. It means nothing. Don't be bothered by it at all. And the flesh that touches any unclean thing shall not be eaten. It shall be burnt with fire. And as for the flesh, all that be clean shall eat thereof. Now, I actually do believe this part. I mean, they wrote it. This is still their writings, but they actually threw this in from another verse, which is actually true. The flesh that touches any unclean thing shall not be eaten. It shall be burnt with fire. I think I may have wrote some scriptures in there about this because I think in chapter 6 they said that if it touched any unclean thing, that it was, here it is, for the sin offering, whatsoever shall touch the flesh thereof shall be holy. And when there is sprinkled of the blood thereof upon any garment, okay, we don't need that part. And if it's the sin offering, if that flesh touches anything, it becomes holy. But the peace offering, it just changes it altogether. Well, why is this offering so special? Okay. But the soul that eateth of the flesh of the sacrifice. Oh, let me make sure I don't have another scripture that goes with this. Okay, this is, I put this in here because this shows that the person did need to be clean when they ate the peace offering. We can read through this. For there were many, this is when Hezekiah had a Passover during the second month. Because the priests could not clean the temple and then clean themselves in time to have the Passover during the first month. So he held the Passover in the second month, and he called all of the neighboring Israelites to come and join him. Okay? For there were many in the congregation that were not sanctified. Therefore the Levites had the charge of killing the Passovers for everyone that was not clean, to sanctify them unto the Lord. For a multitude of the people, every man of Ephraim and Manasseh, Ishtar, and Zebulun, had not cleansed themselves, yet did they eat the Passover, otherwise than it was written. But Hezekiah prayed for them, saying, The good Lord pardon everyone that prepareth his heart to seek God, the Lord God of his fathers, though he be not cleansed according to the purification of the sanctuary. It was a 7-day cleansing process. After the 7 days was complete, they would kill the peace offering. And then that is the offering that they would eat. That's what they're calling the Passover here. It's not the Passover lamb, it's the Passover ox that was killed at high noon. The Passover lamb was killed at 9, just as it's illustrated in the New Testament. But this one is the peace offering. They would kill this at high noon and they would eat it. But you would have already gone through the sanctification process at that time, and this was the celebration that they did. So here, he had people that had not gone through the cleansing, the 7-day cleansing, and he prayed for them, saying, anyone that has a heart to seek God, please ignore their indiscretion here. And the Lord did, and the Lord hearkened to Hezekiah and healed the people. Okay, so that's what's going on there. So yeah, you did have to actually be clean. They did put that in there correctly, but of course that is their writing. But the soul that eateth of the flesh of the sacrifice of the peace offering. Okay, that's why I put this in here. Because I originally, when I read this first, I actually thought that this was correct. It is not. But the soul that eateth of the flesh of the sacrifice of the peace offering that pertaineth unto the Lord. They had to put this in here because they took it out of context, of course. Having his uncleanness upon him, even that soul shall be cut off from his people. Now, I thought this was right at first because I was thinking of uncleanness as sin. But when you read through the next verse, you see that their ideal of uncleanness is just something, another way to condemn you for sin. Another rule that they're tossing at you. Moreover, the soul that shall touch any unclean thing, as the uncleanness of man or uncleanness of beast or any abominable unclean thing, and eat the flesh of the sacrifice of peace offering, which pertain unto the Lord, even that soul shall be cut off from his people. Dogs are unclean, people. Dogs are unclean. I started to go back. At first I started to go back and read through the rules and the laws in regards to an unclean thing, because I know there are certain things that you were not supposed to touch, like carcass and things such as that. But see, this is any unclean thing. A fly, a dog, a soul that touches any unclean thing, and then it runs off of different examples. But it doesn't get past the fact that there's a whole lot of things that are considered unclean in this world, and you're probably going to touch one of them before you make it to the eat the feast of the Thanksgiving, the feast of the peace offering. So it just becomes nonsense, just because it's impossible the fact that no one can possibly do this, because there's so many things that are considered unclean in this world. It goes back to the book where I was talking about if you're on your deathbed and you get bit by a mosquito or a fly lands on your head, you got to go to hell for that? It's just ridiculous. It becomes ridiculous. But you did have to be clean. That part is true, but the way that they wrote it's just becomes a mockery. Speaking to the children of Israel, saying, Ye shall eat no manner of fat of ox or sheep or of goat. This, remember, they think that fat is fat. That's what they believe. They don't understand that it's the innards or the choice pieces. But I thought it was peculiar that they named the ox, which is part of the offering system, the sheep, which is part of the offering system, and then the goat. The ox representing the Father, the sheep representing the lamb and his purity. The goat, according to the Bible, represents sin and Satan. And so they threw this in here. Shall eat no manner of fat of ox or sheep or of goat. And the fat of the beast that dieth of itself. See? You see how they jump around? And the fat of, see, we already have, let's read this. And the fat of the beast that dieth of itself, and the fat of that which is torn with beasts may be used in any other use, but ye shall in no wise eat of it. So they're telling you any unclean thing, and I'm wondering to myself, they're thinking fat is fat. You use fat to make soap. So if you touch some oil from one of these beasts, are you unclean? And now you got to go to hell because that got on your hand or something like that. But I put some scriptures in here for that, I think, about the fat. I can't recall. Let's see what I've got here. You shall bring out of your habitations 2 wave loaves of 2. Oh, I guess I didn't put anything in here. Let's see. I might have gotten them out of order. There it is. And ye shall be holy men unto me. Neither shall ye eat any flesh that is torn of beasts in the field. Ye shall cast it to the dogs. You shall not eat any. Oh, this was funny. That's why I put it in here. You shall not eat of anything that dieth of itself. Thou shalt give it unto the stranger that is in thy gates. No, you shall not. There was one rule. There was one law for the people of God. You didn't give it to the stranger that was in your gates because he was supposed to be following the same laws that you were, that he may eat it, or that thou mayest sell it to an alien. Now, if that alien wanted to eat it, if they wanted to, you could probably do that. You just couldn't feed it to your people. You couldn't do that. For thou art an holy people of the Lord thy God. Thou shalt not see the kid in his mother's milk. I think that's it. Okay, we're going to discuss the wave sheaf. So let's go back. You shall eat no manner of fat of ox or sheep or of goat, and the fat of the beast that dieth of itself, and the fat of that which is torn with beasts may be used in any other use, but ye shall in no wise eat of it. I want to discuss this more, but I want to read down a little bit further here. So let's read a little bit further, and then we're going to come back up and we're going to just discuss the logic of this. For whosoever eateth the fat of the beast of which men offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord, even that soul that eateth it shall be cut off from his people. Whosoever eateth the fat of the beast of which men offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord, even the soul that eateth it shall be cut off from his people. Okay, so this is saying that you shall not eat the fat of an offering. That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense, because in every single offering that they give you, every single one, and we can go, let me lock this in and let's just go back and look real quick. In chapter 1, it tells you with every single beast here, a bullock, shall lay the parts, the head, the fat, in order upon the wood and burn it. And you would see as we go down that it's going to repeat that. You lay the fat on the wood and you burn it up. His inwards, his legs, all that stuff. And if we jump to, we're going to jump to 4 here. The sin offering. We're not going to go through all of them, of course. You burnt up the entire bull for the sin offering. All of it was burnt up for the first part. But then, of course, for all of the rest of them, well, here. Even the whole bullock shall he carry forth without the camp into a clean place where the ashes are poured out, and burn him on the wood with fire. But the innards were burnt up. You burnt the innards up. And that's repeated for all of these offerings. We read through this. If you saw the videos, you know that it's true. The innards were offered in all of these offerings. Okay, I'm not going to be able to jump through this and find these. Here we go. And you shall take away all the fat thereof, as the fat of the lamb is taken away from the sacrifice of the peace offering, and the priest shall burn them on the altar according to the offerings made by fire unto the Lord, and the priest shall make an atonement for a sin that he has committed. There is no offering in any of their offerings without those innards. So how can you say that someone's going to eat the offering? There was no offering made without the innards being burnt on the fire. Let's read it again. For whosoever eateth the fat of the beast of which men offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord, even that soul that eateth of it shall be cut off from his people. There is no off. Do you think you're going to take that priest one kidney and say, look here, I'm getting ready to eat the rest of this beast. Just throw this one kidney on the fire and burn it up. Do you believe that the priest would do that? He would say, take your kidney and go on home. We don't do that around these parts. So this whole, you're going to go to hell if you eat the part of the offering made by fire that's supposed to be the offering made by fire. It doesn't make any sense. Moreover, ye shall eat no manner of blood. Oh, we can't get away from these lies. Moreover, ye shall eat no manner of blood, whether it be of fowl or of beast, in any of your dwellings. Whatsoever soul it be that eateth any manner of blood, even that soul shall be cut off from his people. You all know what grafted in is, don't you? Do you know what grafted in is? We've heard that from our preachers. You grafted into the family of Christ, grafted into the Israelites. What do you think cut off means? All you meat eaters out there, does this apply to you? If you eat any blood, are you cut off from God and cast into hell for? Do you believe that about yourself? Then why in the world would you believe it about another person? This is a lie. It's just a hoop to jump through. It's just another hoop to give them control over your life and to make it harder for you to reach God without them, because they can absolve you of everything. They can make atonements for you. They can forgive your sins. How can you get away from this? You can eat meat, but don't you dare eat any blood. You can eat meat, but don't you dare eat any fat. This is the fat for the offering here, but it's I think it was all inclusive in Leviticus 3. It was at the end of the offering system, fair enough, but I'm pretty sure that's not what it said. It's just another, shall eat neither fat nor blood. Yeah, just a law, just out of the blue. It shall be a perpetual statute for your generations throughout all your dwellings, that you eat neither fat or blood. At least they put a stipulation in here for this one. And it may be that they were trying to imply a stipulation for chapter 3. Were it true, I could have accepted it. But it's not true at all. It's not true for the offering system, nor is it true in real life. It's just made up. It's just made up. Okay, we're going to actually stop here because we're going to get into the wave offering and the heave offering here in this next section. So and I don't want to stop it in the middle. So let's stop here. And I don't know. I feel like I want to say more about this fat and this blood, but I can't remember the points that I wanted to make. I can't remember everything that I wanted to say, and I can't bring it back. I can't force myself to remember it. It shall eat no manner of fat of ox or of sheep or of goat. The 3 animals of the offering system. Okay. I thought about I was praying to try and remember this, trying to remember what I wanted to say. Look, and I just realized something. This isn't what I wanted to say, but this just came to me. So, it names off the animals of the offering system that you're not supposed to eat fat of. The fat of the ox and the fat of the sheep. And then, of course, the fat of the goat. Now, if you look at this and you want to interpret it, incorrectly, of course, then what you can say is that you can eat the fat of a pig. You can eat the fat of an unclean animal. You can eat the fat of those animals, and you're fine. That's, I think, why they named these out. Because I think it's very odd that they would name out these 3 clean animals when they have said, no, you can't eat any manner of fat. No, now they're trying to make it the fat of the offering system animals so that they can push you over into eating unclean animals. Because the threat is hell, people. They have wholly cast you into hell for eating blood. This is just wickedness. Wickedness. Okay, so anyway, I will leave it at that. I will see you in the next video. We will pick up in Leviticus chapter 7, we'll pick up at verse 29.